Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, this time with the VG33. A lot of you probably don't know what this is, so let me fill you in on it. The VG33 is a light fighter made mostly out of wood, right before France was overrun in World War II. It has an armament of one Hispano cannon in the nose, and 4 7.7mm machine guns in the wings. Before we get into things, though, I just want to remind you guys of our blitz towards 1,000 subscribers. I want to keep up the breakneck pace, so if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, it would mean the world to me if you did. Also, I just started a War Thunder squadron, so if you'd like to be a part of that, make sure to join. With that out of the way, let's get back into things. I'm diving on the enemy team here, and I single out the P-39, because that's a pretty threatening target if they know how to dogfight. While the 7.7s can be a bit underwhelming, the 20mm Hispano does pretty good damage. I currently use the default belts right now because it has the highest ratio of high explosive to solid shot shells. So that's what I'd recommend, but I know it's not for everybody. This F4U pulls below me with that low tier tunnel vision syndrome, and I get a crit with the 7.7s on his open engine bay. I pull up behind him, and with a short burst from my 20mm, I'm able to shave his tail section off. Finally, there's the Lag 3, which the Spitfire is already laying into with his low caliber machine guns. I'm able to whip around the top pretty fast, since I have decent maneuverability and energy retention, and I just slot in behind him, and I'm able to pilot snipe him with my 7.7s, walking the tracers into his cockpit. On to the full game now. Because this thing has a pretty strong engine and a light airframe, you're able to climb pretty well. Off in the distance, there's a BF-109 and an FW-190, which I'm not really scared of the FW-190, so my main target's going to be the BF-109. A lot of times, you'll see me use primary weapon selection to just use the cannons or just use the machine guns, because I feel like you get a lot more mileage out of this thing's guns when you selectively use them rather than just spraying them both at the same time. The FW-190 actually ends up presenting himself first, so I'm gonna dive down on him here. I line up my shot with the Hispano, spray a little bit, and yeah, I landed a few high explosive rounds there, but a lot of the hits after that first one were from solid shot rounds, which didn't do very much damage to him. He's gonna outdive me here, and I'm a little confused as to whether he's recommitting or not, but it doesn't look like it, so I'm just going to switch targets to the MiG-3 off over there. I check in on the 190, and he's way off on the distance, running from the Key 43, which gives me plenty of room just to single out this MiG-3 and make sure he dies. I dive down on him, and he presents himself perfectly. I actually do end up running out of Hispano ammo and switch to the 7.7s, and I'm able to get a pilot snipe with it, which is perfect. I did not want to spend more time hosing him down. And the 190 ended up just crashing himself in the middle of that, which saves me a lot of time, energy, and ammunition, none of which I want to spare. Continuing on, below me is the entire enemy team, and from the looks of it, the Key 43 is most likely the most threatening thing down there. I trust myself in a dogfight with a MiG-3 or a Log-3, but the Key 43 just turns so well that I want to get him out of the match while I still have an energy advantage on him. Ironically, in saying that though, watch this spray. Yeah, not great, right? I don't do any damage to him that helps at all, so I'm kind of forced to extend away here. I pitch up to 10 degrees so I can build a little bit of distance from his guns, 20 degrees to get a little bit of altitude, and then 30 degrees to get a lot more altitude, which is going to help me set up a textbook energy trap on him. Now, normally I don't run energy traps on Japanese fighters, as their stall speed is so slow that they can just kind of hang there like a kite and spray you down without having their nose fall. However, the energy difference between us is so vast that I was willing to try my luck. Now, I do understand this is low tier, so I'm not going to roast this guy too hard for playing this not perfectly. However, if you're the Key 43 in this situation, you really just need to put your nose down, get a little speed while you're leveled out, and then pitch up, instead of just climbing with me. If you do so, you'll have a lot greater chance of killing me while I'm at the top of my loop, instead of trying to commit to this suicidal head-on here. If I had any other guns, that Key 43 would be dead, and he's lucky that I only had 7.7s. Now in hindsight, I should have turned around for him right away, because he was stalling out super slowly as the damage and his lightweight structure made it super laggy for him to come down over the top. However, I was playing it safe, as you can never be too sure with Japanese planes what they might just pull out of nowhere on you. In the moment, my strategy is to build up my energy advantage again by extending away. I have a higher top speed than him, and because he's damaged, I also have a better climb rate. Using this, I can end up above him, get enough separation that I have room to turn around without getting sprayed down, and take the fight to him again, with as many advantages as I can get as possible. However, with how much damage he has, I've kind of realized that I can just turn around whenever I want. I am going to speed up the footage a little bit, however, because when I was playing this, I was still very wary of him. I didn't realize how much damage he had, and I honestly thought I could lose this fight. I didn't have the advantage of post-commentary hindsight, and didn't realize how crippled his plane was because of it. Once I'm solidly on top of him, and he hasn't committed to me, it's finally time to roll over. I spray a little bit with my 7.7s here, and because I have bad aim, none of them hit. He takes a full commit head-on with somebody, which isn't a smart idea from the person on my team, but nonetheless, I'm able to spray him out of the match by finally doing enough damage to his airframe. All that leaves for the last person in the match is this MiG-3, who's already being chased by the P-39N. The MiG-3 goes vertical, which isn't a very good idea, but everybody starts somewhere. We stan our low-level kings. I'm able to chase him down pretty quickly because the VG33 is actually pretty fast. You don't see the trait very often in light fighters, but the plane was designed to be streamlined and quick, rather than a turny boy like the Spitfires or literally any Japanese plane. The MiG-3 starts wiggling around, and I'm not going to have the best ammo management. I spray him down, get a crit here, and the P-39N actually shoots rockets at him. I respect the attempt. I run out of ammo, leaving the most honorable option to be ramming him with my propeller. Now, I want to showcase this dogfight I had with a P-39N, which is one of the best dogfighters tier for tier in the game, and one of the scariest things you can face off against if they know what they're doing. I spray my 7.7s in the head-on because any damage I can get is good for me. There's no such thing as a fair dogfight when you're up against something as monstrous as the P-39. In this one loop, I've realized that he's holding 100% throttle the whole time. I'm going to abuse this by cutting to 0% throttle intermittently and using my flaps to slowly cut inside of his turning circle and make my way onto his 6. In doing so, I've solidly managed to slot in behind him, and now it's just my job to land some good shots, which I kind of fumbled the bag here. But because he's not extending away and he's sticking to this dogfight, there's not much he can really do here, as I'm starting to outturn him. He just holds his energy too well, and his turn circle is too wide. I shoot a little bit more here, but I felt like they were falling in front of him, but they were actually falling behind him, because the depth perception was kind of weird. He reverses his turn back into my guns, though, which is a pretty big mistake, as now I just get to hose him down as much as I want, and I'm even closer to him now. Hosing him down with the 7.7s, I'm actually able to get a crit here, which is pretty big. He's either leaking oil, or he's got engine damage, which is going to be of big help to me. I get a few more hits. Every single spark you see on his plane is a new hit. He starts leaking fuel now, and at this point, it's just 7.7 damaged, man. He rolls a little bit, but I'm able to point my nose at him again, and I finally get the kill. So why is nobody playing this thing? Well, the obvious answer is that it's French. The thing is, France gets a lot of hate because a lot of its fighters have both bad armament and bad flight performance. This thing still carries the kind of subpar armament. The 7.7s aren't really ideal, and the Hispano, while having good damage, has low ammo. But it makes up for it in having pretty good flight performance, and I'd say it more than makes it enjoyable to play. And seeing as it sits at 2.7, it should be fairly easy to grind out for anybody who wants to try this thing. You don't really have to commit to grinding out the entire French tech tree for this thing, which is good, because there's not very many enjoyable French designs in the game. That's all for this video. Remember to subscribe if you enjoyed it, as it helps me maintain the growth of my channel. Also, I'd like to remind you guys that I have a Discord server. It's a rapidly growing community of active War Thunder players, and if you'd like to be a part of that, make sure to join it. Other than that, that's all for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.